I am so happy that this program is back on the air. I've been waiting, sitting on the edge of my seat, waiting on this to come back, and it's finally here. Greenleaf. Let's get into it.
And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I'm going up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What,
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for our mid-season premiere episode of Greenleaf. There are actually two parts. This is actually part one. So let's go ahead and get into it. I've been waiting for this. Okay, so we start off, we see the bishop, and we actually see Lady Mae, First Lady. She's sitting there at the hospital. And Mae, I was kind of wondering what her feelings were going to be about this whole thing of Mac being dead and all of that. Because we went back through the scene of how Mac died and how he actually said for her to call somebody. And then she was like, she didn't call anybody at first. So she was just like, where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? I knew that was going to be problematic. I was like, I don't know how that would stand up in court with, the fact that you didn't call for 911 right away. There was a time lapse in there. I don't know, I just didn't know how that would play out, and I guess we're going to see. But I know, never mind. Anyway, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Faith-wise, not good. So let's just keep on going. Okay, so we see Gigi. We see her, actually having pictures taken. We actually seen her outside of the apartment first. We saw her outside of the apartment, before they took her to the hospital and that. She was actually kind of being interrogated by the police. Then they got her in there, and it was just so intrusive and invasive. They were taking these pictures, and it was really hard to watch. And she's really scarred up and bruised up. It was, and that's one thing. Y'all leave it down in the comments. I found this episode was very hard to watch with Gigi. It took me through a whole range of emotions. I just felt so bad about how she had to be feeling. I mean, to have committed a murder. It was your uncle. Still don't know exactly what's going on with her daughter, but then they did come up and say she's at home, she's fine. So she was dealing with that. Then not knowing what your mother's going to do, because you know how Lady Mae is. So you had all these things going on. And, people had really been on her about leave it alone, leave it alone, leave it alone. So just to be going through that range of emotion, it was rough to watch. But anyway, so we got all that going on. And as soon as I seen them, I was like, okay, what's going on? So then Lady Mae went to say something about Mac. And Bishop cut her right off and said, you know what? Don't get upset with me if I really don't want to hear nothing, no lovely family stories about your brother. Like, I don't want to hear it. My child, we don't even know, because they hadn't seen her. They didn't know what state she was in or what she was going to look like or what her ailments were or anything or her state of mind, nothing. He wasn't trying to hear that Mac mess, okay? So as soon as Gigi walked out, and, of course, we had seen her. She looked a mess. And Mae, something switched. And I said, oh, my gosh, everything changed. Mae went up to Gigi and told Gigi that she loved her. And she hugged her. And she literally jumped right into mommy mode, which is something we have not seen from Mae. So I thought that was really, really cool. And I was like, okay, good. Okay, now let's go. Because I didn't know if I was going to be hate Mae. Because I was prepared to hate her. Real good. So that was that. So let's talk about Kevin. Kevin wakes up in the bed with Aaron. Aaron's laying over their baby. Kevin has absolutely let Aaron have it. Okay? Kevin done got all his frustration out because, Kevin ain't been doing nothing but drinking that Ipecac syrup and all that mess. he let loose everything he had, baby, and he had done. Aaron was passed out, okay? And you see on Kevin's face, I said, poor thing, feeling guilty. He was feeling guilty, and he was just there and not there all at the same time. Then you got the little baby monitor. You hear the baby crying. He gets up, he goes, gets the baby, this, that, thing, and the other. Later on, we actually see that Kevin like got up real early, got the housekeeper, one of the housekeepers and nannies to take care of the baby. He went to the church to work real early. He was like avoiding everybody. And I think there was that guilt on him. You know, no matter what it is, he's been taught that homosexuality is wrong. And then, you know, you're babysitting, not babysitting, you can't babysit your own kids, but you're watching after your child, and you are in your in-laws' house, screwing a friend of the family. It was a whole lot. So there was this guilt thing that was going on with Kevin, and I was like, okay, we'll get back to Kevin. And I'll say this. When Aaron woke up, baby, like I said, Aaron had been let have it. Aaron was running around the house looking for Kevin, okay? Y'all know about that, honey. Somebody done put it on you. Where is he at, honey? My phone ain't ringing. They ain't answering the phone. Where he at, honey? So it's one of them kind of things. All that stuff that done went on, honey. Aaron come downstairs. He's like, honey, anybody seen Kevin? You know, and they like, you know, they got all this stuff going on with Gigi. He's like, child, where Kevin, honey? Okay, so once everything was taken care of and we got Grace back from the hospital, and she finally got to see Sophia, and Sophia seen her. And I was kind of bothered because Sophia went right into it's not my fault that you went over there. I was like, shut up, Sophia. Yeah, it irritated me a little bit, you know, with this, but it's not my fault. Well, actually, it really kind of is your fault, because when she tried to get in touch with you, you weren't there. And this is what we do as parents. Whenever we can't reach our children, it's like an automatic thing. We start to think the worst. And it was a lot of time. There was a lot of time lapse there where she could not get Sophia on the phone. And then remember when she called Mac, he was very coy with her, being smart. And that's how it all got popped off. So I'm not saying really to place the blame onto Sophia, but when you get all the way down to the end of it, yeah, baby, you not picking up your phone and your phone being dead and you not being where you were supposed to be because you didn't text, you didn't call, you didn't do any of those things to say I'm not coming. You just didn't show up to the dinner. That was for you. So really and truly, yeah, you being irresponsible did pop it all off. So whatever. Anyway, moving on. There was a scene with Zora and Sophia where I was like really shocked that Zora was still wanting to be linked up with Isaiah. And then Sophia read her the right act and was like, really? The Zora I know wouldn't be running around like a rag buffer behind some boy. She said he can't even hardly sing, for real. She's like, Doc, you're going too far. You know, you're going too far. She don't like him. She don't like him. He dogged her cousin. She don't like him. So then she comes around and then she says, you know, all right. She said, you need to leave him alone. And she said, okay, so for you, I'm going to leave him alone, but you got to help me find a new bae. Well, excuse me. I know you didn't want to play that game because remember you stole him off of her. Girl, you doing too much, Miss Zora. Anyway, moving on. There was, okay, so Aaron had actually kind of talked to Gigi and kind of coached her onto what it was that she was going to say when she goes down to the police station, because she had to go down to the police station for questioning the next day. And just wanted to make sure that her stories match up so that she's not incriminating herself by saying one thing one day. You know how they do. And they went down and everything was going real good. And then Gigi got stumped when we got to that part of when did you call 911? When did the actual call take place? And again, like I said, the morality thing kicked in because she knows in her heart of hearts, you didn't call right when the stabbing took place. And then she's always going to have to deal with that. Could it have turned out differently had I actually called? Would they have been able to save him? You know, so I think morality-wise, she's going to always have to deal with that. But it kind of stumped her, and Aaron shut the interview down, and the police officer was like, okay, well, whatever. The investigator is like, whatever. Yeah, we're shutting this down. So I'm like, at that point, I was kind of nervous. I was like, they're going to try to lock poor Gigi up. I was like, this is going to be a mess. Okay, so let's go away from that for a minute. Let's talk about Jacob. Jacob goes to see Bishop, and he basically showed Bishop that he had the deed to the place across the street, and he didn't go into all of it, but he just said, you know what, things weren't what I thought they were. This is how I actually have worked this out. What I have in mind, why don't I come back to Calvary? You and I will co-pastor, and we could take the land across the street and turn it into something that will benefit Calvary, you know, and myself, and I'll be able to fulfill what my dreams and aspirations are while doing the right thing for Calvary, and we'll all be together like we are intended to be. Well, I was done when Bishop was like, I need a co-pastor like I need a hole in my head. I don't need you. I ain't interested in nothing you have to say. Do you not remember that you and old dude sat up in here and wasted my whole day threatening me and carrying on? He just was not receptive at all, and he just kind of blew Jacob off, and Jacob kind of just like went on about his business, and I think he was kind of crushed. Then we see Calissa and Jacob having this conversation where it's like, I don't even know what we're going to do at this point. What we're going to do for money. She ended up telling him, well, why don't you call the guy back, the guy with the TV offer? You know, the one that wanted to get down with them and all that. And he was like, what kind of man would I be to do that? You know, he wanted to sleep with you to try to further my career. What kind of man would I be? And she's like, one that can pay these bills. She ready to bust it wide open. I said, girl, she a mess. So Jacob said, you know what? I know exactly what we're doing. So I'm like, okay. And then he didn't go no further. So we got to wait and see what he talked about. I said, all right. So next thing we see, oh, I tell you, they didn't want to tell Charity anything because, you know, Charity's she's a whack job. But Kevin actually called Charity and told her what was going on. Charity came on home. So, of course, Mae got mad that Kevin told her. And nobody has seen Kevin, okay? Like I said, he was avoiding Aaron. Aaron looks, all his stuff at the church was all packed up. Kevin's stuff was all packed up. And Aaron's still running around looking for Kevin. Then we see Kevin. Kevin had actually gone to the Pray the Gay Away group and went in there. And as he entered the room, the man was steadily telling the people, these new people, about that ipecac syrup and all that mess. And telling them, just sip it and this, that, and the other. And he just blew up. He blew up. Interrupted the speech, told the man he was a liar, told him none of this mess works, told him I screwed up. None of this works. He said, you all need to accept yourself, accept your sexuality, and deal with what your situation is. This mess he's talking about is a lie. And the guy's like, oh, no, let me talk to you. Let me talk. He gonna say, don't come near me. Don't say nothing to me. You're a liar. You're a liar, demon. Y'all better embrace yourself, honey. I said, ooh. Okay. So he blew up. He walked out of there. Next thing we seen with Kevin, Charity went up to see the baby or whatever. And that's when the nanny just said, oh, no, Mr. Kevin's not here. He told me to look after the baby, and I've been looking after the baby today. She's like, okay. And she looked over, and there was this letter from Kevin that he had left over by the baby's crib. And I don't know what's in that letter, but when Charity read it, she broke down crying. I said, oh, boy, what did Kevin? I'm hoping Kevin, all he's doing is just leaving, like just saying, forget all this and leaving and going back to New Orleans. But I don't know. We got to see. I don't know what's in that letter. I really want to know what's in that letter. Next thing we see with Gigi Gigi's going through all her stuff. Of course, you know, Rick Fox then came on by to see about Gigi, baby. And it's like, look, I ain't going away. I don't care what you say. I'm here for you. I was like, yeah, Rick Fox. So we got all that. Gigi actually took it to the Lord, which was a good thing to see. It was like, okay, so I think, you know, it's tapping her back into her faith, and she's knowing what the real thing is. You got to have faith and all these things. She goes and, you know, she went and prayed on it and all of that. Shortly after that, we see Aaron, and Aaron told Gigi, all the charges been dropped. You fine. You clear. Everything's cool. And I was like, wow, okay. And then the next thing we see is, again, that morality piece. We see Gigi. This is the ending part. We see Gigi standing out in the yard, and she was saying, she heard Mac's voice saying, you know how many times I prayed not to go to jail? And, of course, he's not there. But, again, she's going to have to deal with some of that stuff. He's going to haunt her, I'm sure. But that was it. So I'll see you guys again for the part 2 later on this evening. All right. Bye.